You're listening to the Modern Healthcare Back Office, a podcast dedicated to solving the billing issues and gridlock facing the healthcare industry, presented by ProChat. Hosted by Chuck Ellis and Rachel Schools.
Hey there, folks. Chuck here, and welcome to the Modern Healthcare Back Office. I am joined by my co-host, Ms. Rachel Schools. How you doing, Rachel?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I am so excited today. Today is going to be a very special episode because it is delving into something that you and I both love playing with, and that's ChatGPT, and we're introducing it to our internal expert on Infusion Pharmacy Revenue Cycle Management, Tina Ratliff, who is joining us again today. How you doing, Tina?
Hi, guys. I'm great.
This is going to be really fun because we were talking about this before recording, and Tina has not really had a chance to dive into ChatGPT at all. And so I think this is kind of a perfect jumping off point, and it's nice to finally be the one of the people on the show that actually knows what they're talking about, as opposed to being the guy that's like, so tell me, explain this revenue cycle management you speak of. So for those who don't know, I'm in marketing, and marketing tech has kind of been a hobby of mine for a very long time. So I've been loving playing with ChatGPT, which is a logarithmic text-based AI simulation system that's basically like you feed prompts into it. You say, kind of like Siri, for those of you who have a assistant on your phone, like Siri or Google Assistant, but it's like long form text style, and you can have it do all sorts of amazing things. It's changing every day. Literally this week, it's changed to where you can upload images to it now, as opposed to just text, and they're talking about adding video, and it's incredible, and it's going to be really fun because we brought Tina on, because Tina, like some of you, I'm sure, hasn't really had a chance to delve into it. You might have heard some things about it. You might be going, oh, this is that scary thing that's coming for our jobs, or it's some novelty thing that's going to be a flash in the pan and go away. Well, we are going to put it to the test today against an actual revenue cycle management and infusion pharmacy expert, Tina, and we're going to ask it a few questions, see what it spits back, and Tina's going to tell us whether this is good info, bad info, or whether we should really start paying attention to this. So, Rachel, tell me your thoughts on this before we get started.
So I want to tell you how I see ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember in school our teachers we had to do all of these mundane calculations, and we were told, like, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket at all times.
I remember that very vividly.
Now, ChatGPT literally makes it so you almost have to remember nothing, right? Because you can just talk in natural language, and it sits on all of the datas, just brings it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair? Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's pretty close. It's a mixture of predictive text and a vast wealth of knowledge. And as it sits right now, ChatGPT doesn't actually search the internet. It has a huge database based up to 2021. And they're about to make it so that it is web searchable and it can actively find results in real time. But even with the limitation of being almost 2 years out of date, a lot of this stuff is scary accurate. And so Tina, before we get started on this, just to prove there's nothing up our sleeves, tell us what you know about AI and ChatGPT so far.
Just what you guys have told me.
Awesome.
I haven't used it at all. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to get started here. The first one is a pretty basic one. So I pulled up ChatGPT 4, and I asked it to describe the revenue cycle for an infusion pharmacy business. So I'm going to read this to you, and then Tina, after I finish, is going to go, wow, that was incredibly inaccurate, or wow, that was spooky. I'm scared now. So we'll see. Hopefully it's not the latter. Well, maybe it's a mixture of the two without the scared part. Anyway, so ChatGPT 4 says, the revenue cycle for an infusion pharmacy business involves several key steps that ensure the efficient delivery of infusion therapy services and the collection of payments for those services. The infusion pharmacy business provides specialty medications and services for patients who require intravenous IV therapies, subcutaneous injections, and other infusible treatments, often in their homes or in outpatient infusion centers. How are we doing so far, Tina?
Yep. So far.
Okay.
That is That is an infusion pharmacy. And that
Yes,
is
it is it is successfully described the business. So here's a step-by-step breakdown of the revenue cycle for an infusion pharmacy business. We should compare this to the revenue cycle wheels that we have on prochant.com. But let's see. So first it says patient referral and intake. The revenue cycle starts with a healthcare provider. When a healthcare provider refers a patient to the infusion pharmacy for specialized infusion therapy services, during the intake process, the infusion pharmacy collects the patient's demographic information, insurance details, and medical history. How do we feel about that?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, number 2.
There's a piece they left out, but maybe
Oh,
it's in number
yeah.
2.
No, what do you think they left out?
Well, they need to actually verify the benefit.
Oh my gosh. You're not going to believe what number 2 is.
Verify benefits.
Insurance verification and authorization. The infusion pharmacy verifies the patient's insurance coverage for the prescribed therapy, ensuring the necessary authorizations, pre-approvals, and obtained from are obtained from the insurance company. This step is crucial in confirming the reimbursement rates and patient eligibility for the services.
And I can confirm that that is the same step for every other healthcare service.
Okay. So, Tina, do you concur with the robot?
Yeah.
All right. What do you think?
The robot is correct.
What do you think what do you think the next step is? I'm gonna ask you.
That would be like more the clinical piece, the dispensing.
You are absolutely
mixing.
correct. Treatment planning and drug preparation. The infusion pharmacy works closely with the patient's healthcare provider to develop an individualized treatment plan, which includes the selection of appropriate medications and the determination of dosage, frequency, and duration of therapy. The medications are then prepared and dispensed by a pharmacist in a sterile environment following strict guidelines to ensure patient safety. Okay. I think that sounds pretty good to me. All right. Well, that's not really the part we do. So that's the one that's usually grayed out in the wheel, I believe. Or,
Yeah.
well, I guess delivery and administration of therapy, which would also kind of be part of that. That's number 4.
Because that's clinical. Mhm.
Yeah. So medications are delivered to a patient's home or an outpatient infusion center where a licensed healthcare professional administers and the infusion therapy according to the treatment plan. The healthcare professional also monitors the patient's response to the treatment and documents any side effects or adverse reactions. All right. Number 5. What do we think number 5 is?
I hope that they will contact the patient and let them know that they did receive this order and that they are going to be making a delivery.
Yeah, they
So there
skipped
should
a
be
step.
some form of patient contact at this point to set up the delivery of the medication. Or yeah, like Rachel said, even before that. After the
Okay. It
benefit.
looks like things are a little out of order here because it does go to number 5.
Hey, one for humans.
Yes.
Robot zero.
So the next step, it says billing and reimbursement. Once the therapy has been administered, the infusion
Oh, no.
pharmacy generates a claim, which the appropriate billing codes for the services provided. The claim is submitted to the patient's insurance company for reimbursement. The reimbursement amount depends on the contracted rates, deductible copay, and coinsurance amounts. So we're already diverging. So that's interesting.
It's not diverging. It just missed, like, if you back up to
Medication is sitting on their porch.
Yeah.
That they don't know they're receiving.
So we add in a step. We can actually,
I think that's administration of therapy was in number 4. Like it was kind of in there.
It was there. It was there. No. But I did not hear, I heard like eligibility, but did it have prior authorization in there?
It
did.
said that was in insurance verification and authorization in step number 2. So we're moving to number 6, patient financial
We missed a human step.
We missed a human step.
Mm-hmm.
All right. After the insurance company processes the claim, the patient may be responsible for any outstanding balance, such as deductibles, copays, or coinsurance amounts. The infusion pharmacy will send a statement to the patient with the details of the amount due.
They didn't post any payment.
Ah, interesting. So it is leaving.
2 for human, robot
right.
zero.
Well, let's change the question up, Chuck, now. And
we're not quite done yet, but yeah, what would the question be?
Well, I would have it I would say focus more on the specific steps, go into more detail about the steps of the
okay. You think it's truncating things and leaving some stuff out. That's
I know because I've
Yes,
I
exactly.
know because I know.
You've already asked this. So Number 7, collection and account follow-up. Infusion Pharmacy follows up any unpaid balances, working with the patient to set up payment plans or apply for financial assistance programs if needed. The pharmacy also tracks and resolves any denied or underpaid claims by working with the insurance company to provide additional documentation or correct any errors. And I know that's where we really come in. That's where we really start to shine. So,
Yeah, but I would have signed up for those copay assistance plans in the very beginning
yeah, that sounds like they got that a little out of
because
order.
they can. I think some of them can take a little bit of time to coordinate, get the
Mhm.
paperwork filled out.
And I know that it's leaving some more stuff out because the final step is reporting and analysis. The Infusion Pharmacy regularly analyzes its revenue cycle program by tracking key performance indicators, KPIs, such as days in accounts receivable, claim denial rates, and collection rates. This data helps the pharmacy identify areas for improvement and optimizes its revenue cycle process to maximize reimbursement and maintain a healthy cash flow, which that's kind of right. It's just kind of throwing a bunch of stuff. It's like, and now draw the rest of the owl. It's like one of those things that's like, okay, well, step 1, draw an oval, and step 2, draw a head, and step 3, draw the rest of the owl. It's kind of throwing a bunch of stuff in our
Yeah.
wheel in one bucket at the end.
But
Yeah.
this is where this is where ChatGPT gets really creepy, right? Because I would take that and then I would take it a step further and say, I'm the revenue cycle expert and this is the order and the steps. And it would
Mhm.
it'll go deeper, Chuck, and fill that in.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
we don't.
what things would you look at? Like, make sure that your DSO is. I mean, there's a lot of pieces to the running reports and
Mhm.
analyzing.
It'll give that to you.
Nice.
You
So
would
let's
specifically ask it about the KPIs.
try that. Like, let's think of a KPI that we could throw at it that would might stump ChatGPT.
Cash to net revenue?
All right,
Or
let's see. Let's see what it does. So it says cash to net revenue, also known as cash collection rate, is a key performance indicator, KPI, of the revenue cycle management for an infusion pharmacy business. It measures the effectiveness of the pharmacy's revenue collection efforts by comparing the actual cash collected to the net revenue. This metric helps the infusion pharmacy business understand how well it is converting its accounts receivable to cash and identify areas for improvement to its revenue cycle business. Here's how to calculate and interpret cash to net revenue in the RCM of an infusion pharmacy business. This should be interesting. Calculate net revenue. Net revenue is the total amount of money the infusion pharmacy expects to receive from providing its services after accounting for contractual adjustments such as discounts or negotiated reimbursement rates with insurance companies and bad debt write-offs. Net revenue is calculated by subtracting these adjustments from the pharmacy's gross charges. What do we think of that?
yeah,
Okay.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
Number 2, calculate cash collected. Cash collected is the actual amount of money the infusion pharmacy receives from patients and insurance companies during a specific period. This includes payments for services rendered, as well as any adjustments made by the insurance company, or patient for previous claims. So that's
Yeah.
number 2. All right. Number 3, calculate cash to net revenue. Divide the cash collected by the net revenue and multiply by 100 to express the result as a percentage. Okay, I know how to calculate a percentage, so I know it does that right. This percentage represents the proportion of net revenue that the infusion pharmacy has successfully collected as cash. For example, if an infusion pharmacy has a net revenue of $1 million and cash collected of $950,000, then the cash to net revenue would be cash to net revenue equals cash collected by net revenue divided by net revenue times 100. Cash to net revenue equals 950,000 divided by 1 million times 100. Cash to net revenue equals 95%. Yes,
For
thank you for
grins
teaching
and
me how to
giggles,
do
for
math.
grins and giggles, let's do one more
Mhm.
thing to it, right? Say,
Sure.
great. Now explain it like I'm 8.
Like, I'm
Like I'm a kid.
Okay, so let's see. It says, all right, imagine you have a lemonade stand. You make and sell lemonade to people. The money you expect to get from selling lemonade is called net revenue. But sometimes people don't pay the full price for lemonade because they have special coupons or deals. And sometimes people don't pay at all because they promise to pay later but never do.
Yeah.
Who's doing that to a kid's lemonade stand? The money
Right.
the money you actually get from selling lemonade is called cash collected. To see how well your lemonade stand is doing in getting money from selling lemonade, you can compare the cash collected to the net revenue. To do this, you divide the cash collected by the net revenue and then multiply it by 100 to get a percentage. This percentage tells you what part of the money you expected to get that you really got. The higher the percentage, the better your lemonade stand is doing in getting money from selling lemonade. So if you keep track of this percentage, you can find ways to make sure your people pay for their lemonade and make your lemonade stand even better.
If that was perfect.
I love it.
And the only thing we didn't tell these poor kids is about taxes.
Oh,
And also that they say they're going to pay, but they don't pay at all, just reminds me of insurance.
yep.
Well, that's what it is, right? You're
Yeah,
saying you just told
that's
kids
the-
how to get ready for the real world of you don't
Yeah.
get to keep this money that you actually make.
that's people saying, well, I hired this other guy to buy my lemonade for me, and he said he was good for it. And then, just kidding, he found some way to get out of paying for it, and now nobody's getting any money. And you're looking at me going, why aren't you paying for my lemonade? And oh my
Oh.
goodness. Yeah, I think we'll get in trouble if we take this analogy too much further. But yeah, so pretty wild stuff. I think we got time for one more question to ask ChatGPT before we end this. But what do you think we should ask it?
I don't know. We're in Mercury retrograde. Ask what that is.
Okay.
We're playing with technology, right? I think it's
Sure, why
Yeah.
not?
Does it know everything?
Yeah. How about what advice would you give to an infusion pharmacy business to optimize their RCM? This is where we get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Are the three of us in danger of losing our jobs with this answer? All right. To optimize the revenue cycle management RCM of an infusion pharmacy business, consider the following. Streamline patient intake and insurance verification. Ensure that your team is efficient in collecting accurate patient information, verifying insurance coverage, and obtaining necessary authorizations from insurance companies. This helps prevent delays and claim denials due to inaccurate or missing information. What do we think of that?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
step one.
Step 2, establish clear billing and coding processes. Train your billing staff in correct coding preferences to minimize errors and ensure accurate claim submissions. Regularly update the team on changes in billing codes, regulations, and reimbursement policies to stay compliant and reduce the risk of claim denials. I actually recall Tina saying something very similar to that in a webinar we did.
Yeah. What's funny is these sound like the bullet points from my
From your actual
that I had.
webinar.
Yeah.
It might
Yeah,
actually be
exactly.
stealing from our webinar. I don't know.
Oh, that's it. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's
But then
just
we're all
it's
saying
robot
the same
Tina.
thing. Yeah.
Number 3, use technology to automate and optimize processes. Implement
Oh,
an efficient
boy.
RCM software or an electronic health record EHR system to automate tasks such as insurance verification, claim submission, and payment processing. These systems help reduce errors, save time, and provide real-time updates in the status of claims and payments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. I think
All
we had didn't we have a whole either webinar or podcast on
we
that?
did, actually. I remember that. Yeah, it was a podcast episode. So monitor key performance indicators, KPIs, regularly track and analyze KPIs such as cash to net revenue, days in accounts receivable, claim denial rates, and collection rates. This data helps identify areas for improvement and informs decision making to optimize your RCM process.
Ask
Okay.
it how it can
One
help.
of the thing that it kind of left out was that I see when I would go do consulting. One of the things I would see a lot is that being understaffed in collections. That
Mm-hmm.
it seems like that's the place where office is often understaffed, not quite
Sure.
staffed well enough. And that was another thing I think that we talked about in our podcast and maybe even on a webinar
Mhm.
about making sure that you're properly staffed.
Yeah, which leads us to number
your rate of
5.
Oh, I thought it was done.
Nope, there's 8. Improve. Is there 8? No, there's actually 10. Improve communication and collaboration. Encourage effective communication and collaboration between your pharmacy team, healthcare providers, and insurance companies. Timely sharing of information and resolution of issues can lead to faster reimbursement and better revenue cycle performance. That's 5. Okay. Follow up on outstanding claims and accounts receivable. Develop a system for promptly following up on unpaid claims, underpaid claims, and patient balances. Address any issues with the insurance company or patient. Provide necessary documentation and negotiate payment plans when needed. Offer financial. Okay, so that's number 6. So, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Offer financial assistance and payment options. Providing flexible payment options and financial assistance programs can help patients meet their financial responsibilities and improve their cash flow. Invest in staff training and education. Is number 8. Regularly train your staff in RCM best practices, industry changes, and latest technologies. Empower them with the knowledge and tools they need to excel in their roles and contribute to the overall success of the business. That's a pretty good given. Number 9, conduct regular audits and reviews. Periodically audit your RCM process to identify areas of inefficiency, revenue leakage, and noncompliance. Implement corrective actions and improve your revenue cycle performance. That's number 9. And finally, number 10, seek expert advice and support. If needed, consider consulting with RCM experts. Hey! Nice. Or outsourcing some of your revenue cycle functions to specialized companies. Hey, girl. They can help you optimize your processes, navigate complex regulations, and maximize revenue connections. Thank you, ChatGPT. By implementing these strategies, an infusion pharmacy business can optimize its revenue cycle management, improve cash flow, and ensure financial stability while providing high-quality care to patients. We couldn't have said it better ourselves, although Tina might. What do you think, Tina? You're the expert here.
No, that sounds great.
Yes, especially
Totally
number
agree.
10.
Yeah.
So I think we got time for just one more before I go, and I'm going to ask it, how can ChatGPT help an infusion pharmacy?
Can you do my job? If
That's it.
so, let me
Yes.
know.
Please tell me your weaknesses so I can take you out. Now, it says, as an AI language model, ChatGPT can help Infusion Pharmacy in several ways by providing support, information, and assistance in different areas of business. Here are some ways ChatGPT can be beneficial to an Infusion Pharmacy. Answering general questions. ChatGPT can provide quick and accurate answers to general questions related to infusion therapy, medications, and industry regulations, saving time for pharmacy staff and enhancing customer service. Number 2, assisting with training and education. ChatGPT can provide helpful resources, explanations, and training materials for pharmacy staff to stay up to date and latest industry practices, regulations, and technologies. Interesting. 3, streamlining communications. ChatGPT can be integrated into a pharmacy's communication channels, such as email or chat, to help answer patient or provider inquiries, schedule appointments, or provide medical instructions and side effect information. That's interesting. Revenue cycle management support. Hey now. What's this? ChatGPT can provide guidance on optimizing revenue cycle management processes, including tips for improving insurance verification, billing coding, and collections. I mean, it wasn't completely wrong on that. So I think there's a heavy caveat there that make sure you run this by an actual RCM expert before you make any final decisions, because it might have truncated a few things. Number 5, drafting and editing documents. ChatGPT can help create, edit, and review documents such as patient education materials, treatment plans, and internal policies and procedures. That it certainly can do.
Oh,
It's
yes.
really good at taking like bullet points and turning them into dialogue. And data analysis. ChatGPT can help gather and analyze relevant data such as industry trends, competitor analysis, and key performance indicators to support informed decision making and business growth. Marketing and content creation. Hey, now it's coming after me. ChatGPT can assist in creating marketing materials, social media content, and blog posts to promote Infusion Pharmacy services, engage in target audiences, and build brand awareness. That's actually true. I do use it for some of those
Is that
things.
your job description right there?
More or less. So it's been great working with y'all. Process improvement suggestions. ChatGPT can provide recommendations for improving various pharmacy processes and workflows, enhancing overall efficiency and effectiveness. I would be very interested.
Hey, that's mine.
Oh, that's coming after all of our jobs. Rachel's over here like, I'm fine. Compliance support. ChatGPT
I don't want a job.
Compliance support. ChatGPT can help identify potential areas of non-compliance, providing information on industry regulations, and offering guidance on implementing necessary changes and maintaining compliance. And finally, number 10, idea generation and brainstorming. ChatGPT can be a valuable tool for generating new ideas, solutions, and strategies to address challenges and opportunities in the infusion pharmacy business. While ChatGPT can provide valuable assistance in many areas, it's important to remember that it is an AI language model and not a substitute for professional advice or expertise. Thank you, ChatGPT.
There, we just all got our jobs back.
Yes. Human oversight and judgment should always be utilized when making critical decisions or implementing changes in the pharmacy's operations. So, with that in mind, please email Tina Ratliff at tinar@prochant.com before making any decisions with something that you fed into ChatGPT. Woo! Okay, so Tina, how do you feel about ChatGPT now that we've actually gotten to play with it a little?
I think that's super useful, especially even for for pharmacies that get a lot of questions sometimes from startups that they don't have a lot of knowledge about.
Oh, it starts up
certain things.
businesses like crazy, Tina. That's what I do with it.
Yeah, I think
Ooh.
that's really useful. Very useful.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's definitely something that take everything with a grain of salt. But it as far as like brainstorming, like if you're an actual expert on this and you're having a hard time getting started with writing something or writing either a process or presentation, it's really handy for me to use as like a skeleton building tool to then flesh out and add the unique aspects of my expertise alongside it and confirm or deny certain things, because there are sometimes it'll say something and I'm like, yeah, that's a little basic for this audience, or that doesn't go deep enough, like we saw earlier on this.
It's
So
the neurodivergent
I
best
kind of want to
friend.
borrow that. I kind of want to
Yeah.
borrow that for my documentation.
well, ChatGPT is there is a free version available. I have a one that is $20 a month that I use, and it is fantastic. It's worth every penny of it. I think it earns that every day that I use it. Just in the amount of time it saves me on stuff. But it's really great, because for me, if I have to write something, I will just like open stream of consciousness, dump my brain into it, and then say, act as my editor and turn this into a coherent blog post, or
I
turn this
am
into.
a published author. I won't say it. You can find it if you want to, but I am.
Congratulations,
Me and ChatGPT.
you and ChatGPT. That's amazing.
That is.
So,
This
but
has
yeah,
been so
like,
fun.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
fun.
So, well, Tina, thank you for humoring us AI nerds and our weird little foray into this. And thank you for joining us, listening audience.
Yeah, it was big fun. Big fun.
Yeah, so we'll have to do this again sometime. We'll have to come up with another list of stuff that Tina can use to try and stump ChatGPT. But it did pretty good. I heard recently that ChatGPT was passing LSATs, and it got a really it got like a 92% on the SAT or something like that. So it's interesting. Like it's learning a lot. It's an interesting little thing that's just kind of sprung up out of, really became its own in late 2022, and it's going to change everything. So we often talk on this show, and Joey talks in his presentations about how the healthcare industry is about 10 years behind everybody else, and then the home care industry is about 10 years behind the rest of healthcare. So, this is a
Not
chance
anymore.
for not anymore. I think this is really going to change that perception and that take. So I'm really excited about it. I think our listeners should be really excited too. And we'll talk about it more on a future episode. But thanks as always for joining us today. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, or rate us 5 stars if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. That will really help us out with getting word out about the show. And thank you again for joining us today. Find out more about ProChant at prochant.com. And if you got any questions, we are all available on LinkedIn, or you can find us over at prochant.com. So until next time, we'll see you later. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Modern Healthcare Back Office, a presentation of ProChant, a wholly owned revenue cycle management service dedicated to serving HME, pharmacy, infusion, and other healthcare providers. Learn more about us at prochant.com.